Hey everyone, it's JJ here. Because of all of the craziness that's happening in the world right now with COVID-19, I have a lot of free time on my hands, and I thought, why not start with my basic drag beat? So if you want to see how I finished off the look with the eyes and the brows, then keep on watching. Okay, so I zoomed in for you guys so you can get a closer look at the actual steps that I'm taking. I did want to mention that I did go in with the Fenty Beauty concealer that we used earlier in shade 105 and the concealer brush, and I just did an outline of where I want my brow to land once we're all done. And then I use this also as an eyeshadow base. The first shadow that I'm going to use is from the House Labs Glam Room #1 palette. So I'm going to go into the lightest shade, which is called Cake, and I'm going to take a Morphe M441 brush, and then we're just going to take the corner of the eye and just use it to start a base, a shadow, and blend out where the concealer stopped and goes into the contour. Okay, so now that that is done, we have a quick little peachy pink base for the shadow, and then we're gonna go in with the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palettes. One of my favorite palettes. You can see that it's almost down to the pan. So I'm gonna go into Tongue Pop first, which is this shade right here. I'm gonna just go on the same Morphe M441 brush as a way of blending those two shades together. We're gonna take that in the exact same area and start carving out a crease, and then blending that up and out to start carving out a wing. Now, when I do my eyes, I always try and mimic the shape that I created with my cheek. So I do go up and out to pull the eye and face back and out, which makes it look slimmer and more feminine. So a lot of queens do cut creases for their first looks, or that's their go-to. So that's kind of what I'm mimicking here with this look. I am going to go back into the first shade from the House Labs palette, which is Cake, and we're just going to blend out the top edge of that shape that we've created. This is just going to help keep it a smooth transition from the concealer to the shadow. So next I'm going to go back into the Blood Sugar palette, and we're going to go into this deeper red called Cherry Soda, and then Prick, which is this brighter red. They do give off like a pinky tone as well, which is going to blend nicely with this. And then we're just going to, again, continue the shape that we started creating by following the crease and then dragging it out and up. So this is something that you're going to have to figure out for yourself, is the shape of the eye that you want, or the challenges your eye has that you want to eliminate. So from example, I have hooded eyes and I don't have a lot of space on my lid. And so I have to then either cover or shave my brows and then raise up my brows higher than my natural brow. So I start my crease from the inner corner of my brow bone / nose, and then I follow where my natural brow normally would be and start blending out the colors there. And then when we cut it, the crease will go just underneath the brow bone, and that is so you can see where the color is on the lid. I forgot to mention that I am using a different Morphe brush. This one doesn't have the number on it. It is just slightly a little bit smaller than the first brush, so the M441 brush. From here, you can just keep on going back and forth between the shades to get a good blend. You want to make sure that you're not blowing out that red shade too far. It may look like I'm not taking my own advice, but we're going to do a large chunk of black liner there as well. So I'm going to go back into the House Labs palette, and we are going to go into the shade Contort, which is this deeper reddish brown shade here. So I am going to go back in with another Morphe brush. This one doesn't have a number as well, but it's similar to the brush that we used for the nose contour in the first video. So it is just a fluffy brush, but it is flat, so you get more control. Ethan Hansel Art actually asked, what is the worst makeup product you ever used? I can't think of like a recent makeup product that I've used that I don't like. I did do a dollar store makeup video on my YouTube a long time ago, and there was a lot of bad products there. So as you can see, I have placed the Contort, the brownish red shade, in the crease, and then you see that I do bring it up, and I'm trying to carve away at this part of my brow bone. So I will keep the dark shade from all of the shadows here to try and sink that in more to create, again, the illusion of having a higher crease than I actually do. So we're going to go into the shade Top Hat, which is the black in the House Labs palette. And we are going to go in with another Morphe brush. This is the M456 brush. So this is actually the nose contour brush from the first video. And we, again, have the ability to stamp on the color because it is a fluffy brush, so it does hold the pigment, but then it is flat, so it doesn't blow it out too much. You can really control where you put this pigment. At guilty_mess asks, tips for drag performers starting out. So I actually got lucky when I started doing drag. I would do makeup at home and then post the makeup look, and people started liking it and reacting to it. My friend Victor, he actually started doing drag around the same time as me. His drag name is Naomi Leon, so if you check him out on Instagram, he would appreciate that. But we would actually go out and drag together, and that's how I started. But it wasn't until recently that I started performing. I actually, again, was lucky because Naomi was crowned Miss El Ricos here in Toronto, and he was able to bring me in for some of the shows that he did. Then after doing a couple shows at El Ricos, I decided that I wanted to take it to different bars because the drag that I wanted to do wasn't necessarily just the typical drag. I wanted to be able to do like the alien makeup that I've done and do more performance-based shows. So we're going to get into the next step now, which is actually cutting the crease. Again, you just bounce back and forth between all of the shades that we used in all of the different brushes to get a good gradient. And once you're happy with it, then we will start cutting the crease. So I'm just going to go back in with this concealer brush. This is actually a Makeup Forever brush. It came with the concealers that they sent, and it says it is the 176 straight brush. I don't know if they sell it, so we're going to just dip in. I put the concealer on the back of my hand. I try to only coat the outside of the brush so that we're not wasting the product and we have more accuracy. And then I just follow that line above the actual lid and out to the corner of the eye. So one of the questions in the first video was tips and tricks from Erin Wolfia, and this is one of them. I actually was watching a makeup tutorial by Violet Chachki a long time ago, and she was having the same issue with lid space and hooded eyes. And so one of the tricks that she did was she put concealer on her lid close to the lash line and then opened her eyes up. Then you'll see the transfer, which shows you the lowest part that you have to cut the crease before you'll actually see it with your eyes open. Another thing that you want to do is you want to stamp the product. So that's it for the crease. It's very simple. I don't go too crazy with it. Again, I'm going to be putting a lot of bright colors on top, so I'm not too concerned with how opaque the concealer is. If you are doing lighter colors, you definitely need to be more careful. You could also powder it with a white shadow first and then put the other colors on just to make sure that it doesn't transfer. However, when you put shadows down first and layer other shadows on top, you are going to lose some of the pigment or the payoff. So that's just something to keep in mind. So Taylor Lay MUA asks to do an all Canadian makeup look. I don't know if that's possible because I don't really know many Canadian makeup brands, but I'll have to do some research and see if that's something I can definitely do. I'm going to show you these brushes. This is the oh, they're actually different. This is the M506 and the M507. Very, very similar, but they are just a very simple rounded fluffy brush, but tiny, and it's again perfect for placing pigment or for people that do have smaller eyes or hooded eyes like myself. So we're going to go from lightest to darkest. So from the brow bone is the lightest to the corner of the eye is the darkest. And then when we go from the corner of the outside of the eye to the inside of the eye, we go from darkest to lightest. So that's the gradients that we want to follow to create those shapes that we have been trying to achieve. We're going to go into root canal, which is this purple shade. It does read a little bit pink when you put it on the eye, so it's perfect when we already have this reddish pink base. So I am picking up a lot of the product on the brush, and then I'm going to start stamping it on. Again, I'm not going to go back and forth. So the next shade is called Cavity, and this is this pinky purple shade. So we're going to take the other brush, so this is the M507, the same idea. Pick up a lot of the pigment on the tip of the brush, and then start stamping that on where the purple ends and the concealer starts. Obviously, with everything that's going on in the world with COVID-19, there are a lot of people that are artists or drag queens that are suffering due to the closures and not being able to work. I mean, I had, I think, 3 drag shows scheduled, and I had Fashion Art Toronto coming up and a whole bunch of projects that I had planned, and they are all on hold or postponed or canceled. I know that I'm lucky and I have a full-time job as well, so I'm not too concerned about income, but a lot of creatives are struggling to find a way to do what they love and also survive financially. So a lot of drag queens are doing live streams on Instagram and Facebook, and they do have ways of tipping them virtually. So if you're able to tip them and offer some financial support, that's amazing. I'm not telling everyone to do that. It's definitely appreciated if possible, but other ways of supporting artists is just sharing their work. I know recently for myself, Instagram has changed their algorithm again, and it's definitely harder for people to see my posts. And again, as a creative, you want to share your work with the most amount of people so that they can continue to share and support you and potentially purchase something that you're selling or be able to come see a show. It's definitely something that is very quick, very easy, and it does make a difference to combat the algorithm. So now that I finished laying down the pink shade next to the purple, I am going to fill in that blank space that we left at the top of those 2 shades, going into the black as well as the corner of the eye. So I'm going to go into the Jawbreaker palette from Jeffree Star as well. I got this and I haven't used it very much. I don't know why I don't use it because the shades are stunning. So I'm going to take the Cotton Candy shade on an M166 brush. So this is a flat, almost concealer brush, and I'm going to take it on the corner or the edge of the brush, and then I'm actually going to take the NYX Cosmetic Matte Finish Spray, and then I'm going to lay this color down again in the corner of the eye socket, and then I'm going to take it and press it where we left that space of concealer above those 2 colors. So while I'm doing this, Motivation Rasta said just dropping some positive energy, and I just wanted to shout them out because I appreciate it. Positive love, positive energy is definitely needed right now in the world, and I think we need to do more of that. Instead of judging people, we definitely need to be more open and more positive. So if you know people in your life are having a hard time or maybe having a hard time or deal with mental health or depression, definitely drop them a line and say, hey, how are you? Are you doing okay? Is there anything you need? And for the people that you have on social media, again, do the same thing. You never know the situation someone is in. Any little bit of attention or support will potentially change the course of their day or life. So shout out to you, Motivation Rasta. I appreciate it. I'm going to go in with the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Highlighter and What a Brat. So this was the pink shade that we used to flush out the cheeks from the last video. And I'm going to take 2 more Morphe brushes So this brush is similar to the other ones, it's just a lot less bristles. And then I go in with this tiny, tiny brush you can't even see, but it's a tapered like pencil brush, very small. I used the bigger version of it to do the highlight on my nose. Again, I spritz it just really lightly. And then I'm just gonna take that line that we had, because the Kilowatt highlighter has a little bit more of like a silvery white base as well with the pink. You do get a better glow with that. So that's why I like adding this on just to the inner corner. So we're gonna go back into the House Labs palette and we're gonna go back into the top hat shade, which is the black. Okay, so now that we have re-added in the black, I've been using the House Labs liquid eyeliner. I'm gonna see how much I can do on camera because this is something that I struggle with daily. But what I do is I take it from the corner of my eye and I just kind of like place it there. And then I drag it out. So then we are close to the lash line and close to the corner of the eye. I will go back in after and do more of a point on the inside. But then what I do is I kind of follow the angle that we've created and then start doing that. And then I will fill in the rest. I don't worry too much about it being symmetrical or perfect because we are going to glue the lash on top of it. So as you can see, I drew on the liner and I got to the top and made a mistake, but I wanted to show you that that is not the end of the world and that makeup is like that, where if you make a mistake, don't worry, you can definitely correct it. So what I do once I do my liner, and I do this before and after I put lashes on, but I just add in the black to blend out the liquid liner. And then what we can do at the very end is just blend out that corner and we're back to normal. So these are actually lashes from Deluxe Hair Fanatic. She has been the amazing hairstylist that has been doing my wigs lately. So I have 2 human hair wigs from her, the blue and the yellow, and I'm absolutely in love with them. And every time that I buy a wig, she sends a couple pairs of lashes, and these ones are no joke. So these are really big, really fluffy. So all I'm gonna do is just gently trim some of the inner corner pieces off to create a gradient that fits my shape and my eye. Again, lashes are something that you have to kind of play with that fits your face. Don't be afraid to trim lashes or alter them in any way because they are a generic lash that you have to then fit to your face. Okay, so I did the lashes on the top half and then I added the Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced. Now, my eyes just started watering like crazy. I think I got the eyeliner in my eye. You can always add in the black shadow on top of it to kind of set that liner. I used the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Black Bean as the eye liner, the tight line, so the waterline. And then what I'll do is take the shades that we used on the top half of the lid and then blend it into what we've created. And then what we do is we go in with the top hat shade, which is the black from the House palette, and we're just gonna go closer to the waterline with this, but I always do the black at the end after we do the tight line with the jumbo pencil. Okay, so we are almost done the look. I know that this process does take a lot of time. So for brows, I do take a shadow first. So this is called Cake Mix, and this is from the Blood Sugar palette as well. I take this angle brush from Morphe, I wet it, and I take it into the shade, and then I use the corner of my thumb as a way of mixing it so that's almost more like a paste, but then also you're flattening out the brush so it's more angled and precise. So then what we do is we just follow the shape that we created with the concealer, And then what I do is I go in with the Urban Decay Brow Blade. This is in shade Neutral Nana. And the one half is like a brow pencil and the other half is a marker. I do brow strokes following the shape that we created. Okay, so now that that is done, we are gonna go into lips. I've been using the House Labs lip liner. Side note, I just wanted to say a huge shout out to House Labs for killing it lately. I mean, from the very beginning. I obviously have a love for Lady Gaga, but I think that House Labs is slaying the makeup game. They do such a great job of including such diverse people and models in their ads and their Instagram. So I just wanted to give them a huge shout out. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lip in the shade Baby Daddy. Again, just like a neutrally light brown. And then we're just gonna put it here in the center. And I bring it down to the lip line there because I want the pout to be centralized, and then make fish noises to blend it out. You can also use your finger to get a better gradient. To finish off any makeup look, I just kind of go back in, brush off any extra, hopefully get rid of any fallout that has happened, and then I go in with a setting spray. This is just the NYX Matte Finish spray. The last thing that I do for every look is I go in with a liner. It's usually the Epic Ink liner from NYX Cosmetics. And I go in and do beauty marks. I find that it's also a great way, again, using a dark shade like a black, to tone down the rest of the features of the contours. It makes it look more natural because the contrast between the black and the contour and the skin tone. So that is it for the makeup. I'm going to go put on a wig and some nails, maybe change the outfit, and we will be back with the final look. Okay, everyone, this is the final makeup look. I threw on some nails from Miss Pop Nails. Check her out on Instagram. She is amazing. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the past two videos of my basic drag makeup. And now that we have this as the starting point, we can go forward and do more creative alternative looks. Just let me know down below if there's anything you want to see from me in a video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.